Hey guys, it's Angelique, also known as The Light. Welcome to my channel. Click like, subscribe, stay a while. If you like narcissistic videos, you like spiritual videos, chosen one videos, or just topics on life. This is my second time trying to record this. As you can see, I got one eyebrow done because I already recorded some of the video, but it was tripping. So I'm gonna try to get through this video because I only have less than 30 minutes to get out my house. I'm about to go to dinner with my homeboy, so get ready with me. Remember the $3 top I bought last week? This is it. It's kind of big in the boob area. I am gonna pin it before I walk out the door. Don't worry, I'm not gonna walk out the door like that. Um, but yeah, I love the top. It's really cute. Let me step back. Very flattering, but it's just I don't got double D's anymore. I got C's now, so I'm gonna have to just fix this pretty much. But I do love the top. The top is really nice. So get ready with me, meaning do my makeup with me so I can go out to dinner. I'm going to this Guyanese Chinese restaurant, so I'm excited. I've had that food before. It's really good. I don't know if you know that there's Chinese people in Guyana, the Caribbean island, even though they try to say it's not West Indian or whatever, but to me it is. So doing my eyebrows now, and I want to talk to you about what's it like being 40, healed, and spiritual in the dating world, right? And how did I change between my 20s when I was unhealed, religious, and pretty much was never single in my 20s, right? So first off, the reason why I'm doing this video is because I noticed on my algorithm or my analytics, so to say, I got younger people watching my videos from like 18 to 50-year-olds watch my videos. So I was like, oh, let's talk about love, because love and spirituality, it goes hand in hand, because, there are a lot of spiritual people who feel lonely, I haven't felt that yet, you know what I'm saying? I already know I'm gonna have a lot of men in my comments like, you lonely, you're gonna get cats and stuff. Like, men have to understand that men and women are built differently. I don't think men could be alone. I just don't think so. It's very rare. And when you meet a man who can be alone, he's on like some very high level of spirituality. That's what I find. But an average man cannot be alone. He's always like feel like he needs a woman around or his lover around if he's gay, pretty much. But even when he's gay, he likes to be around women. Think about that, because women have a powerful energy. Like if you really a man gets a real good woman, his money go up. Oh my gosh, his money can go up. His life quality go up. Even men who get married live longer. Because you have that woman pouring that love, pouring that natural feminine energy into you. And, men are good for what they're good for, but women are good for what they are good for too. So I just used the Anastasia Dip Brow on my eyebrows, just a pencil, eyebrow, what is this called? I don't know, tool, basically. I already put some concealer on, LA Pro concealer and Elf concealer as usual. I don't have any powder to put underneath, and that's okay. Again, Fenty Beauty Pro Filter foundation. I hate like a lot of heavy foundation, so I just like a light powder, right? But anyway, so let me tell you how I grew up. So I grew up with a narcissistic stepfather, but I also saw him protecting and providing. So that is instilled in me, and I naturally do. I have and I do, when it comes to like committed relationships, attract men who are providers, and I would never be with a man who isn't a provider. It doesn't feel natural to me. It doesn't feel like it's in order. And I grew up with a mother who was able to stay at home. My mother wasn't like a bum bitch or anything like that. They actually met at work. He was a correction officer at Rikers. My mom was the secretary to the warden. Okay, my mom went to school. She had a college degree. She had great work history. So, you know, she just was a woman in her femininity, and the men that she got with provided and wanted their wife home with the kids, pretty much. So that's what I'm used to. That's what I'm used to. So how a person grows up, what they see in their household, usually is what they become, unless they become rebellious and they go against that, right? Where I felt like I didn't want marriage. My mom thought I was weird. I didn't want marriage, but if I was going to be with a man, he still has to, I like gender roles pretty much, right? So I grew up with gender roles that was instilled in me, and I also grew up religious. I grew up Christian Seventh-day Adventist, which is a pretty strict religion, honestly. Like their doctrine, the Sabbath worship, their attire is pretty sophisticated and modest. Growing up, they used to call us like the Black Jews, even though I know the true history behind that one. But yeah, it was pretty strict. I didn't wear jewelry growing up. I didn't wear makeup growing up. I wasn't allowed to like go to the movies sometimes or go to parties. Like it was really strict. It was weird. Um, I couldn't we didn't celebrate Halloween. We didn't celebrate a lot of holidays or did the original traditional things. Sometimes they didn't even want Christmas trees around. There was just a lot of interesting ways I grew up that made me who I am today. Like if you feel like, oh, she's so polished or conservative, I really say it was because of the way I grew up in religion. We just didn't have TVs in our bedroom. Like we just didn't grow up, so to say, worldly. Say I still have fun. Like my mom was a cool parent, so she would allow a lot of things to go on that my stepfather, who was narcissistic anyway, he didn't want certain things. He didn't want us to be exposed to certain things. It was my mom that let us sneak and watch videos or let me have certain CDs of like Mary J. Blige and Jade and Brandy. It was my mother who allowed me to listen to hip hop, and she snuck it to me, but the narc stepfather who was religious and who how we looked was huge to him. Like the image, he was one of those type of narcissists that really paid attention to image. We had to fit the image in his head of what he felt his family should look like. Okay, so that's how I grew up. I grew up like in this home that looked like a magazine. It had to be perfect with perfect furniture. It had to, our clothing had to be perfect. It was just weird. It wasn't natural. But as also, I grew up in a home where my mother was being abused. He would hit my mother from time to time. He would cheat on her. He would do a lot of bad things too. So that made me look at men differently. And by the time I started dating, I lost my virginity to my first love, my first boyfriend at 19. I was not a person who was like a teen having sex. My mother was like, look, I lost my virginity young. I don't want you to lose your virginity young. So why don't you wait until after high school to get involved with, men in that way? And I said, yeah, that's true. That makes sense. She was just like, we're not wealthy. If you have a kid, you're going to suffer. So do not get pregnant in high school. And I think you should wait to date. Focus on your studies. When you get out of high school, then date. I did talk to boys, but I didn't have sex with boys during my teens. Okay. I almost lost my virginity at 13 to one of my close male friends. RIP to him. But I decided that just wasn't the life for me and didn't go through with it pretty much. So, that pretty much is what, you know, set out who I am. Got hurt by my first love, hurt by the second man I dated. You know, they were both toxic. The second boyfriend was a narcissist. You know, like, I basically dated my fathers, you know, meaning I ended up dating men who were just like the narc stepfather and my biological father, right? That's how it goes down, you know, and you don't even realize a lot of you are dating your parents. A lot of you are picking up women who remind you of your mama, your sisters, or the women in your family. A lot of you don't even feel comfortable around healthy individuals because you're just so used to toxic women, so used to toxic men because that's what you're used to. And I went through that all through my 20s, guys. I kept dating men who were just like my fathers until I addressed those issues, until I matured and realized, hold on now. I'm literally trying to make these men love me because I felt like I couldn't make my fathers love me. It's sad. I'm telling you guys, a lot of you are still doing it, okay? I have a mirror right here, and sometimes I'm going to be looking over there. So, also, I went through a stage in my 20s where it was like, I don't respect men. I don't even respect y'all. Like, I don't really respect y'all. To me, at one point, men was just there for entertainment. That was it. There was a moment in my 20s where, you know, men say, oh, that woman is cold. I was cold. I really didn't care, you know? Like, I just wanted you for that, and that was that. That was it. And I think your 20s should be for that. If that's something you want to explore, I think your 20s is a perfect age group, you know, decade that you figure out who you are. You know, you want to go to school. Do you want to get married young? You know, like, I felt like marriage kept chasing me. So the first time I got proposed to, I was 20 and the guy was 28. And my mom and her in-laws, they were like, marry this guy. We like him, marry him. And I was like, I'm not marrying this guy. I'm like, nah, mom. Like, you know, and honestly, I was just like, mom, I'm running the streets. Like, I'm for the streets right now. Like, I really don't want to. It wasn't I was for the streets, but it was just I wasn't ready to be anyone's wife. And I'm so glad. You know, when I talk to people, this is magnetic glue. I'm gonna do some lashes. I only use magnetic lashes because I'm allergic to the other glue. So I really did not want to be a wife at 20 years old. The guy said I broke his heart. You know, I was like, no, I can't marry you. And, you know, he hated my guts for it. But he told me that I actually was his karma because he said, you know, he was 28. I'm 20 at the time. He was just like, yo, I played so many girls. There was so many women that wanted me. And the one girl that I want to be with don't want to be with me. So, you know, I broke it off or whatever. And I'm glad that I was mature enough at 20 to tell that guy the truth. Like, look, I don't want to be a wife. I don't want to be a mother right now. And it's not for me. And I think I've always felt like this. And I know it has a lot to do with how I was raised and the things I saw in the household. But even after I've done my healing work and my shadow work concerning my fathers, I still didn't desire marriage. And I was just like, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. If you don't desire marriage, there's nothing wrong with you guys. It's just not for you. Maybe that is not God's path for you. You know, Jesus wasn't married. You know what I'm saying? If you believe in Jesus, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of spiritual people. There's a lot of chosen ones who are not married, and it's okay. And people will keep saying, well, man ain't supposed to be alone. We're not alone. There's tons of people. There's other type of relationships. Whoopsie. There's other types of relationships that you can have and still be fulfilled in life. You don't have to have a husband. You don't have to have a wife, you know? And I think I've always felt this desire, but I thought, oh yeah, this is because I'm broken, or, you know, I have daddy issues. But even after I've healed from my daddy issues, I still don't really desire that marriage. You know, I desire a relationship with a man, but I just don't desire sometimes to be a wife. But if that is something that God calls me to do, I'm willing to try it at least once in my life. And it's strange because my mother actually got married 4 times. And let me tell you something, people will always talk about you. Whenever I tell people my mother was married 4 times, they like, damn. Some of y'all can't even get, let me tell you something, some of y'all can't even get a man to commit to you as a boyfriend. How my mother had 4 men propose to her, she never asked these men to marry her. I have absolutely no idea, okay? My mom was that girl. So she naturally wanted me to be that type of woman too. She wanted me to get married. I remember 13 years old, I looked her in the face and said, Mom, you will never have to pay for a wedding, towards a wedding. Don't worry about it because I'm never getting married, Mom. I knew from a child that it just wasn't my desire, you know? I love men. I love, being in a relationship, but I also love being single too, basically, So in my 20's, I guess you could say what they say is I learned what I like sexually. I started building my hairstyling business. I became a hairstylist, a very good hairstylist. I was broke in my 20's, but I still was doing what I love. I had a lot of friends in my 20's. I partied in my 20's. I traveled in my 20's. I really lived. I really lived. I didn't have to have no abortions. I never got pregnant by anybody. I dated. I was engaged about 3 times in my 20's. But I kept running. I just kept running for marriage. You know how people be desperate to get married? Instead, I just kept running away from marriage because it just didn't feel natural in my spirit for me. So if you're somebody that just feels this, like, don't fight it. Like, leave it alone. Don't try to follow behind your friends in society. Because honestly, everybody, all my friends that got married in their 20's, they divorced now. I think I have one friend, a male friend, where he was my best male friend. And, his wife was very jealous of our friendship. So after he got married, I backed away from him. Yeah, he's still married. He's been with that girl since he was 15 years old. I think he's 43 now. They are still together. They have teenage kids together. I don't really have that many friends that when they got married in their 20's, and I'm a millennial. I'm born in 83. I really don't have a lot of friends that they're still married, Now, another reason why I'm so happy I didn't get married in my 20's is that I changed completely. I'm not the same woman I was in my 20's. You know how like you bump into people from your teens and your 20's? They even got the same hairstyle. They got the same hairstyle. They're the same person. They still up to the same tricks. No, I am a completely different woman compared to who I was in my 20's. Also, I was also very masculine in my 20's because when you have been hurt by your fathers, when you have been hurt by men, a lot of women become masculine in order to protect themselves. And that's what happened to me. So I was very masculine and dominant in my 20's that I wouldn't have been able to get married anyway because I wouldn't have been able to take leadership. Yup, I can say that. I wouldn't have been able to take leadership. I always wanted to say no to men. I always wanted to argue with them. I was very argumentative when I was broken in my 20's. So I would have been a horrible wife anyway. And that's something that like I said, I'm very, very glad I was mature enough or listen to my spirit. I'm just trying to fix this. I'll clean it up later. I was mature enough to be like, nah, let me not ruin these men's lives. Let me not play games with them because they were ready. They were all older than me. The second dude that wanted to marry me was after my mom passed away. I was about 23, 24. Him and I were friends and we used to go to church together. So he was a religious dude. The first dude wasn't really religious, even though his dad was a pastor, but he wasn't religious like that. His dad was a Baptist pastor. And it's crazy because I think his father saw the future me, because he was like, you're supposed to be my daughter-in-law. Like, I really dreamed about you. I like you for my son. Like, you're supposed to be my daughter-in-law. And I was just like, no, I really had to like let your son go. But anyway, the second dude, he was religious. Juvia's Place, guys. They have like the most prettiest palettes. It is a Black-owned company. They're on Ulta. They're at Ulta, the store, or you can go online at juviasplace.com. Okay. I'm looking for a pink blush, pink eyeshadow to use. Basically, and then I think I might add a little glitter to it too. Glitter. But yeah, so oh, that's nice. Maybe I'll use this color and then some red. I think I have red too. That would be nice. And then I think I might use a little bit of this. All right. So the second dude, he was so controlling. After my mom died, we got together. We were friends for years. You know, we went to church together. But I felt like he was just so... He was just too controlling. And I was just like, you know, what's going to happen when we get married? It's going to get worse, right? So I'm going to just use this lighter pink as a base. And I just felt like, damn, if he's acting like this, it's going to get worse if we get married. And that's the reason why I decided to break off the relationship. And my mother had just died and he was already acting like weird. He wasn't being supportive. Like, if your fiance's mom just died, wouldn't you want to be like loving? If the camera cuts off, guys, I will do part 2 of this, okay? Wouldn't you want to be loving towards your fiance and, you know, for her emotional needs? No, because a lot of men just don't have that emotional maturity. He just kept saying how he wants to change my look. He wants me to stop wearing tight pants. Keep in mind, I'm 23 at this time. I got to stop wearing tight pants. He wants me to wear skirts down to my ankle. Like, and I'm like, bro, you crazy? Like, why would you want to date me, marry me, and then you want me to change? Like, and see, that's the thing about it. Marriage, you're supposed to change in marriage, right? But when you're 23 and you're like being yourself, you feel like, damn, why do I have to change for you? Like, you met me this way. Why do I have to completely change? And I wasn't saying anything to him about I wanted him to change anything. I loved him, or so I thought. I loved him, you know, the way that I thought he, you know, who he was, who I thought he was. I loved him just like that. So I broke it off with him, guys. I was just like, I'm not about to do this with this man. You are literally trying to change who I am, and I can't do it, bro. You doing too much, right? So I'm gonna put my lashes on now because I think I might put glitter, and I hate when glitter gets caught on the glue. So after that guy, we broke up. Then when I was about 25, I ended up with another guy, right? And he was older. He was 20 years older than me. And he watched me grow up, which was pretty creepy. He watched me grow up and was just like, yo, I want you. Like, I want to be with you. Like, let's get married. Our families know each other. we would be perfect for each other. And I was just like, do I really want to marry a man 20 years older than me? And he was established too because he's already in his 40s by now. And I think this is why they tell you to marry men older, because it's very rare you're going to meet a guy in his 20s and he's established already. Like, we're talking like, making 100,000 or more. It usually takes men, longer to build up their empire. So even though he was financially established, I was just like, I can't really picture myself marrying a man in his 40s. Think about it now. Now I'm 40. This man's in his 60s. He's like 62 now, right? I can never pick. Could y'all picture me being married to a 62-year-old man? And I've seen him like within a couple of years on social media, and he looks 62. He is completely gray beard, gray hair, everything. Like, he looks like he's in his 60s. I just couldn't picture myself with a 60-something-year-old man. But maybe if I was in love with him back then, it would have been okay. But I wasn't in love with him. I wasn't, I just couldn't picture myself with an old man like that. Not old, but just older than me in that sense. So that's what happened to me in my 20s, guys. And a lot of people always ask me, like, oh, do you regret it? Like, do you regret not getting married young? And the answer is no. And I know a lot of people want people to, regret it. And it's just like, nah, you don't regret it, because you know that you had to mature. You know that you had to go through certain things, as a woman, as a man, that you needed to become who you are now. Most of these men are religious, so we would have clashed anyway. Now I'm spiritual. So about 28, 29, when you hit your Saturn return, that is when I begin to leave religion. That is when I feel like God really like yoked me up and was like, I'm not playing with you. You can see that I'm putting like a little bit of this glitter in the corners. I really just started to transform. I started doing my healing work, shadow work. I got into spirituality. It was hard. I had to leave religion, and it was very hard to leave religion because that was all I knew. All I knew was Christianity. All I knew was religion. All I knew was Adventism. And when I was leaving, people turned their back on me. They was just like, what do you mean? Like, when you leave religion, people think like you're leaving God. People think like you don't believe in God anymore. I don't know where the hell they get that from, but that's what they believe. So I lost friends. I lost respect. People lost respect for me. People thought I was a weirdo. People just kept saying, oh, I'm going to pray for you. People kept trying to convert me back into religion, and please don't write in the comments, I'm praying for you, I hope you go back. I will never, ever go back to Christianity. I will never, ever go back to Adventism. I will never go back to any religion, ever, because it is me going backwards spiritually. When I was in Christianity, I would be so bored in church. Bored. Because it was the same verses over and over again. It was the same people, but in different buildings. It just wasn't for me. It's kind of like the genius kid in class. It was the genius kid in class that they keep sending up, 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 up into the grades. That's how I felt in religion. It was just like, it wasn't enough for me to learn. Spirituality feels like an ocean, but religion felt like a box to me, And that was the reason why I feel I made the right decision. So no shade to you if you are in religion, because I will never regret being Christian. It really helped me in certain areas. It helped me with public speaking. It helped me with like building relationships in churches, with people. It helped me in so many different, areas of my life. It gave me structure. Religion does give you structure. I got to travel to places with people who I liked and loved as a kid or even in my early 20s. So I will never say, oh, religion is bad. It's just not for everybody. When it's time to move on, it's time to move on, pretty much. So now that I told you that part, how do I feel now that I'm spiritual? Now that I'm a spiritual woman and I'm more tapped into my spiritual gifts, dating is completely different. You know what I'm saying? Because back then, I wasn't self-aware of soul ties. They didn't teach me that in my church. Maybe they taught you that in your church, but they didn't teach me that. They didn't teach us like to not have sex randomly with people because you can take on their demons, or they didn't really push us to work on our spiritual gifts. They told me I should go get a mental health evaluation. Once they realized I was spiritually gifted, in Adventism, though that's just the devil, or seeing spirits, that's just the devil. So as soon as I followed the spiritual path that I was supposed to follow, that is when 6:06, I gotta go, guys. That is when I realized, oh shoot, it's a whole different ball game when you spiritual and when you self-aware. You can't just be out here being a little thought, having casual sex, because you can pick up sexually transmitted demons. You can't be out here just, frolicking with men or women or whatever you're into, because you can really get caught up with the wrong person. And that was just something that I had to learn. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, how come they didn't teach me this in religion? You feel me? I was just like, wait a minute. I don't remember hearing this from the pastor or from, elder women in the church. They didn't really teach me this. So that's what I learned. It was a hard reality. As soon as you get out into that world, that spiritual world, and you start seeing them spirits, dating, you literally, not that you get scared, but you literally be like, yo, it's crazy out here. It's dangerous out here. I'm not about to sleep with the wrong man, hang with the wrong friends. Everything changes, guys. You don't look at sex and love the same way. You just don't. I'm just putting a little red underneath my eyes, pretty much. You just don't look at men and women the same. And that is the difference between dating when I was religious, unhealed, then now being single, dating now, and being healed and being spiritual. You see too much. So when you're spiritual, when you're in tune, when you're more healed, you know too much, you see too much. Now, another thing is, the more healed you are, people ask me, oh, why are you 40? You're beautiful, you're this and that. Why are you single? Because let me tell you something. You think like, I think I want to put this yellow underneath there because I'm not really digging the red too much to make it pop, or I'm going to put the yellow in the corner of my eye, right? So you don't see people's insecurities, right? So imagine you meet a man or a woman and they are healed, right? But you're not. Or maybe, you're healed, right? You're healed. They can see this. They know that, yeah, oh, that looks good. I put it right there. They know that, damn, this person is spiritual. This person like did the healing work. This person is secure. They're insecure. They're playing a game out there, right? You think because they on social media, or you think because they got money, you think because they look good, they dress good, they smell good. You like, damn, like they got it together. Nope. People are faking and fronting out here. So this is what I discovered in my 30s, that people are really faking and fronting out here. And when you have spiritual gifts, you can see all of this. You like, damn, he look good. He's, in shape, or he got his money together. He's educated. He's very good looking. He's this, he's that. But damn, he's faking it. He's faking and fronting. He really isn't happy. He really is a man child. So this is what happens to a lot of spiritualists. And this is why you see a lot of us chosen ones or spiritual people and tuned people. You see why we are single. Because we see too much. We see too much. We know too much, right? So for the last year, I've been having people literally running for me, guys. I'm going to cut this light on. Ooh, okay, girl. I've been having people literally running from me, right? It is very scary because I never really experienced this before. I'm going to just put like a little bit of something here to kind of like make me pop, because I don't really use blush, but I just think this pinkness will be so cute. They'll run from you. So if you find like, oh, you're talking to somebody, this happens to me a lot. So I'll meet a guy. This actually happened last week, guys. This is scary, but this has been happening strongly for like the past year. I noticed that it's increasing. So we've had a lot of spiritual shifts, but this has been happening to me for the past year strongly, okay? And I think it's because, yes, I grew more spiritually. So this is gonna happen, right? So something told me get on Hinge, right? And I'm like, get on Hinge? I hate dating apps. So I get on Hinge, and instantly I meet this guy on Hinge, and he's a Virgo. I already told you, I already know I can't stand Virgo men. But I'm like, no, let me talk to him. Let me see what's up with him. And guys, let me tell you, he checked off so many boxes on my list that it was like, whoa, this is scary. So I even told him, like, I don't like Virgos, but you cute. Let's talk, get to know each other. We talked for like 5 hours, right? And then we were supposed to set up another phone call the next day. This guy totally just disappeared, guys. He totally disappeared. And I was just like, that is just weird. So I'm going to line my lips with Fenty Beauty. What is this called? Uncensored, okay? I'm going to try like a little something different today. So he just like disappeared, and I was like, that is just so strange. And this has been happening to me a lot, where I'll be talking to a guy, the conversation is dinging, and they're like, yo, you're so beautiful, you're so this, you're so that. And I mean, we'll be talking for hours. Like, it's scary. Like, I should charge them. And the next thing I know, they ghost me. It's so weird. And they'll even be still following me. I don't have social media anymore, but I have a TikTok, and they will still follow me on TikTok. And let me tell you something. That is spiritual. Sorry, that is spiritual protection. I'm letting you know that right now. It's spiritual protection. I'm just like, I don't know what is going on in the universe, but the universe, my ancestors, they do not play. I know it looks crazy right now, but it's about to look cute. And I'm like, wait, what is that? Because he was really feeling me. I'm not going to front. I was feeling him too. And I was just like, it was just weird. He hit me up. He sent me a photo of him right before he was going to work. And he was like, yeah, I'll be home from work at 11 o'clock. I'll call you then. Never heard from him ever again. And I was just like, wait, what? And I have a burner page on Instagram, and he follows me on my burner page. He never blocked me. This happens, guys. People will disappear from me. Even friends. This happens even with platonic friends. They will disappear from me. And then all of a sudden, I mean, we'll be cool, and then they'll disappear from me. And I'm just like, what the hell? And I'll go on my social media, and they had not blocked me. So let's see what happens. Oh, that's cute. I love it. Ooh. That's cute, guys, right? So if this is happening to you, it's cool. Because think about it. If you really was a problem, why would they still be watching you? I'm telling you, it's almost like a spiritual force is making these people like leave me alone. They cannot they can't talk to me. They can't even have access to me. It's scary, guys. And I'm just like, what? How is this even real? Like, this shit is scary. It is so scary. I don't know. And then the other day, there was a guy that I dealt with in my 20s. I met him when did I meet him? In my late 20s? I'm not sure when I met him, but I know I met him in my 20s. And we're both, well, he'll probably be, I think he's turning 40 this year. I think I'm a year older than him. Yeah. So I had the most beautiful conversation with this guy. I was like, oh my God, he's a Scorpio. He's a Scorpio. And, I'm a Leo. And I just had the most beautiful conversation with him. And he apologized to me. He was like, yo, I didn't give you a real chance. I didn't really get to know you the way I should have gotten to know you. Everything was just sex. And I let him know, like, we both were that way. It wasn't just you just wanting the intimacy from me. Like, we both was on that vibe. Like, we both didn't really get to know each other in the way that we should have gotten to know each other. It was a mutual agreement that we had a physical relationship. And this went on for 8 years, guys, and it ended like 2018, 2019, where I haven't slept with him since then because a lot changed. I no longer wanted to have casual sex, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think the last time I slept with this man was like 2018-ish, I guess you could say. And he had a hard time with this because he's a Scorpio. Scorpios are really into sex. Sorry to say. Y'all are. Scorpios rule the genitals, okay? So, I like that. That is so cute. And he just really had a hard time with us having to part ways, But anyway, I like the way this came out. This is really cute, guys. I look like I'm going to Mardi Gras somewhere, right? So yeah, he had a hard time separating from me sexually, but we talked so much and he apologized. We were on the phone for like a good 2 hours. And this is Treasure. This is the scent that I'm going to wear tonight. I love this. This used to be my mother's favorite perfume. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, yeah. Then I layer it with Mix Bar. Ooh, vanilla bourbon. You can get that from Target for like $12, I believe. It smells like vanilla bourbon. Exactly what you think it smells like? That's what it smells like. But anyway. So we talked and he apologized and he was just like, yo, you're amazing. You're this and that. I'm not even asking for nothing from you. And he did tell me how when we saw each other in 2021, he did come to see me in 2021 for my birthday when I had a hotel room in Manhattan. But he like ran out the room, guys. Homeboy ran out the room. I don't want you to see my leak up there on my ceiling. He ran out the hotel room, guys. And I was just like, this dude running out of hotel rooms. And he told me the truth. I confronted him back then, but he told me the truth. Like, yeah, I ran out the hotel room because I felt like sexually attracted to you. And I was just like, I knew that, but just because you feel sexually attracted to me doesn't mean that I was going to allow something to happen between us. Like, I have to consent, right? And at the time, back then, 2021, I was cool. Like, I really wasn't trying to sleep with you. Like, we were just hanging out. I was about to go to my birthday dinner anyway, which he wasn't going to. I washed my hair early this morning, so let's see what happens or what it's looking like. Ooh, I look nice, right, guys? Even though I have to probably curl it. I need some bio silk for my hair because bio silk always keeps my hair straight. But bio silk costs $13. So yeah, send me some donations so I can buy some bio silk for my hair. So we had this great talk. And it did validate me. I'm not even going to front. It did validate me because sometimes you feel like, damn, how come none of these people that I had these sexual relationships with or something casual, how come they never like really dated me or wanted to pursue me or something like that? I mean, really, how could they? Because that's the only part that you're showing them anyway. Why would you think that they would want to have something more with you, you know? But the energy he gave me kind of gave me like, I kind of grew past him. I know that's deep, deep, deep. Yeah, it gave me like, he kind of feels intimidated now because I did my healing work. It seems like he's a little insecure because he's just not on he's not supposed to. Like, we're all supposed to grow differently anyway, right? But the energy he gave me, he knows that he's not spiritually on my level, pretty much. Like, I'm not the same girl anymore. You get it? And he's aware of that, and it's like he's like, damn, like, if I'm gonna come back in your life, I want to come back correct. Ain't no man gonna be saying that if you really didn't change. Because if he really just was like, nah, she's just a vibe. She's just some, vibe meaning she's just something that you play with. No, he wouldn't say that. You know what I'm saying? If he just said, nah, let me just see if I could just sleep with Angelique, like we used to, he would just come back in that way. But he seems like, he's just like, he even got another job and stuff because he's always struggled with money and stuff like that. So I noticed that he's made a lot of changes in his life. He's still a personal trainer, but he also does another job that makes pretty good money. So I'm very proud of him that he's grown. But I was crying, guys, on the phone this week. This happened Monday. I was crying. He was crying. He went through his spiritual journey. I've gone through my spiritual journey. So I just thought that was just so dope, guys. I was just like, wow. I think we both needed this conversation. It's like he was apologizing, but I'm like, I allowed you to use me for my body. I allowed you to mistreat me, disrespect me, be talking to other women while you in my house and all this stupid stuff that went down between him and I, and I feel like that really showed me how much I've grown as a woman. You know what I'm saying? You're not always going to get an apology, though. Don't ever think like that. You're not always going to get an apology from a man that you dated years ago. That's not going to happen. But it did validate me. It did let me know how much I've grown as a person. So basically, the moral of this whole story is it is different. You're gonna get, if once you do your healing work, once you love yourself, you're going to get quality. You're not going to get the quantity. See, when you're in your 20s, you're unhealed, you're ripping and running the streets and stuff like that, you're going to get a lot of people coming at you. So some people even say, oh, because you're old and you're 40. No, no, I still attract the youngins. I'm 40 and I don't really, men my age don't talk to me. You know, my ex, I'm 40, my ex is 35. So the last guy that I was dealing with last year is 29. You know, so when you're younger, older men come after you. When you're older, younger men come after you. You know what I'm saying? And when you're attractive, it's going to be different. It is different, you know, whether you're 40, whether you're 30. So, no, and honestly, I find that I attract better quality men now at 40 than I did when I was in my 20s. In my 20s, I attracted all type of narcissists and just men who just wanted to be with me because I'm young and, you know, give them validation or they think I was dumb, easier to manipulate. And I was easier to manipulate back then because I didn't love myself. Duh. I didn't love myself. So, of course, it was easier to manipulate me back then. Of course, that man who was 40 and I was 20 something wanted to marry me back then because he knew that I was a silly chick, basically. So, yeah, that is what happens after you do your healing work. Really spend your 20s doing the healing work, even in your 30s, you know, even if some of us just did it. I didn't start my healing journey until I was 29, 30. You know, don't let that discourage you either. You know, it is what it is. It happens. You know, don't feel bad about it. It's never too late to start your healing journey or your spiritual journey. What I will say is that just try to, you know, do be celibate sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Wait. Don't give up the cooch. Don't give up the D so quickly. Like, really scan these people, you know? So now I'm more picky with my body. I'm way more picky with my body now than I've ever been. And you should be. Everybody should be picky. But, you know, there's some spiritualists, y'all don't really believe that. Y'all like, I can sleep with whoever I want to sleep with. And it's crazy, you know. If that's how you see things, then cool. Do you. That's your business. But for me, I'm not going to do that. I don't think that's safe spiritually. So when you become healed, when you become um when you start to love yourself, you just make better decisions when you love yourself. You make better decisions when you have access to spirituality, when you know how demons work, when you know how those dark spirits work in the body. You just become better, okay? Pretty much. So that's all I have for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed my get ready with me. Let me hit up my homeboy because I'm definitely running late and I don't want him to um be waiting for me. So let me hit him up. And this is my finishing look. I'm just gonna curl my hair a little bit to kind of give it a bump because I wrapped it as y'all saw, and it is just giving 90s, you know. So I just want a little curl, pretty much. And I will make more videos soon. And don't let the fact that you're not pulling in multiple men and women discourage you, okay? Too bright. Don't let that discourage you. It's about quality and not quantity, all right? And also, how you meet people is you have to be in the energy to want to meet people. Okay, you have to be in that energy to want to meet somebody. You have to be in that energy to want to be loved. You have to be loved. You have to be fun and friendly. You can't be just sitting up in your house like well, however you want to meet people, tell God that, tell your ancestors that, tell universe that. But sometimes maybe your partner is getting ready and that's why you haven't met anyone. But now I'm in the energy to love and to meet people, and that's why I think I am meeting people. But I got a serious spiritual protection over me. God ain't playing about me. So if that's happening where people are just disappearing on your ass, that's probably what's going on. Don't be scared. It does get kind of scary, but I'd rather people disappear from the beginning than disappear months in or years into the relationship with them. Okay, so if you're finding that friends and lovers are disappearing on you, it's spiritual protection. There's something you said, there's something you did, there's a way you move that is scaring the demons off. As I just heard somebody say, filtering the spirit out. Your spirit literally filters people out. That's why they're ghosting you. That's why they realizing, nah, she too healed for me. She know what she want. I'm not going to be able to just get sex from this person. I'm not going to be able to run game on them like I normally do with other people. So that's the reason why. That's why it's happening, okay? All right, guys, let me get out of here. And hopefully this video doesn't take forever to load. And I'll see you on the next Getting Ready With Me Spiritual Talk. Peace.